Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. We're getting another pretty bad winter storm. I'll show it at the end of this video. It's just starting again, and of course it's very cold out. I have decided to start my own music tag. Thank you. And if anybody, you can either just comment below with the answers, or you can make your own video, then come back here and leave a link for it in the comment section so I can check it out. I might have to approve the link because I usually don't like people posting links in the comment section because it takes them away from my channel, right? So, but just remember that if you do post it and you don't see your comment, just give me a chance to approve it. I will, okay? So this is called the Canadian Studmuffin's 2026 Music Tag. And I've got 10 questions. I actually thought of this last night. It's usually when I'm listening to music, and my thoughts drift. And I came up with this. It's getting nasty out. Just wait till you see it. Okay. And also, one other thing. I've still got my contest going on, so if I hopefully remember, I'll put it here. You've still got a few weeks to enter the contest. So number one, and I'll answer these as we go along. What was the first band or solo artist you became a fan of? For me, of course, it was the Beatles. Before the Beatles, I just listened to children's music, right? And when I was almost 6, but 5 years old, I saw the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. And I might have heard, I think maybe one of my sisters had maybe an album of theirs or some 45. So around that time, I became a fan of the Beatles, and they're still my favorite band. What was the last album you listened to? Mine was, I just took it out of the CD player. It was the Beach Boys' Little Deuce Coupe. And I just played the start of all summer long, and then I was too tired. That. And at some point I am going to do a ranking of the Beach Boys albums. And besides that, I also listen to, you can, if you want to list more than one album, that's fine. I also listen to electronic music by George Harrison and Wonderwall music by George Harrison. And I will do reviews on these at some point. I might even do a George Harrison ranking in separate videos. Number 3, what are your favorite music genres? Well, classic rock, but, I'm kind of picky when it comes to classic rock. Not, bands like Journey, Boston, even AC/DC I'm not really into these days, but they are great, of course. But I love, Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, some classic rock. And I love some prog rock, Yes, Genesis, King Crimson, Nectar, a few others. I like some singer-songwriters, Randy Newman, Paul Simon, of course Paul McCartney, George Harrison. I like some jazz rock, but I'm not that knowledgeable about a lot of jazz rock, but I like Miles Davis. I love Frank Zappa when he does his jazz rock. And I think, I listen to a wide range of genres, I feel. And I even like a little bit of old country and, like Johnny Cash. So that's that answered. About how many CDs and vinyl records do you own? What I did, maybe someday I'll count them all, but I just counted one of these lines here. And then I've also got some box sets in my bedroom that have CDs. So I would say roughly I've got about 900 CDs. And for vinyl records, I don't have that many. Maybe, just like a dozen or so, if that. Who is your favorite Beatle? Now this is a two-part question. If you're old enough to remember, well, it doesn't even matter. I'm separating the Beatles years from the solo years. And there's two different answers for me for that. So in the Beatles, John Lennon was my favorite, as much as I love all four. He's just my favorite singer of all time, especially in the Beatles years. But number one for me is Paul McCartney for the solo years. How often do you listen to the radio? A lot, a little, or never? None of your business. Oh, this is my question. I never listen to the radio. There's, of course, the odd time I had, when I used to work, they were always playing the radio. But when I'm in my car, I almost 95% of the time, if I'm listening to music, I listen to a CD, not the radio. I'm really not a fan of the radio. Number 7. This is a good question. Thank you. What is a favorite artist, a band or a solo artist that you love that others, your friends, your family, online, they don't care for as much. They're not a really loved artist. I would say for me, Yoko Ono. It doesn't matter. Anytime I bring her up, there's always, somebody leaving a, kind of an ignorant or nasty comment, and I usually end up deleting them. But I love her music. I know I get it. I get it that a lot of you don't like her screaming, but there's more to her than that. And this album especially is all song-based. There's very, very little of her screaming. She's singing. I love her voice. I know maybe you don't, but I do. So I feel she's my choice. And I know there are some of my viewers that actually agree with me, which is nice. Which underrated bands do you love that you feel are underrated? One I feel is underrated, and I'm going to do a video on them at some point. I have 4 of their, I think they have 5 albums. I have the first 4, and I've played the first 2 a lot through the years. And these, the 3rd and 4th albums, I've kind of ignored, but I've been playing them recently, and I'm talking about Klaatu, Sir Army Suit, and Endangered Species. So, like I said, I'm going to do a video on them at some point. Other underrated bands, Nectar for prog rock. I think they should be, they are known, but I feel they should be better known. Deaf School, The Undertones, the sensational Alex Harvey Band. Even artists that are, pretty well known, like Donovan, I still feel he's underrated today. Maybe in the 60s he wasn't, because he was a pretty big superstar back then. And 2 more. Which band do you think is the most overrated? Guns N' Roses. And the final question is, which musician's death affected you the most? There, of course, have been a lot. David Bowie, George Harrison, many. But for me, the biggest shock was, of course, John Lennon. On December 8th, 1980, I remember it very well. And like I've said before, it was it was almost like losing a family member. That's how, kind of depressing and shocking it was. And that's it. Those are my 10 questions and my 10 answers. I'm looking forward to your answers in the comment section below. Please remember to like the video and make sure you subscribe to both of my channels. I just posted we're doing a CD exchange on my other channel, so please check that out. It's with Morris and Roberts on my turntable. Let's check the weather. Yeah, it's just starting to snow again, and I think we're supposed to get up to 25 centimeters. Not sure what that is in inches, but it's a lot. And it's also very, very cold out. So I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.